Today we're going to be focusing on words and expressions. We'll be looking at word problems and figuring out how to translate the verbal phrases into numerical expressions. We are also going to focus on the order of operations. In today's vocabulary, we are focusing on numerical expression. A numerical expression contains a combination of numbers and operations, and it does not have an equal sign. By operations, I mean addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division. If there is an equal sign, it is called a numerical equation and not a numerical expression. Some common words and phrases for addition are sum. For example, the sum of 4 and 7. More than, for example, 8 more than 10. Increased by, which is 3 increased by 9. And total, or the total of 14 and 2. For subtraction, some options would be difference, like the difference of 10 and 15. And less than, 3 less than 7. Or decreased by, 9 decreased by 11. 9 decreased by 11. And subtract from, like subtract 7 from 12. Subtract 7 from 12. Be careful with the word phrases for subtraction, because if you notice, some of them where I said 7 subtract by 12, the 12 comes first in the expression. So with this, you're wanting to take away 7 from the 12. You're not wanting to take 12 away from the 7. Some common words that you will find in word problems in regards to multiplication is product. For example, the product of 6 and 8. Or times, whatever is 3 times 17. Of is another big important word that they will use. So what is 1/4 of 24? So it would be 1/4 of 24. In division, one of the most common words we would use is quotient. For example, the quotient of 14 and 7 is 2. That basically means what is 14 divided by 7? The next one is divided by, which I actually just used. So what would be 24 divided by 2? So what is 24 divided by 2? That would be 12. When it comes to word problems, I recommend looking through the word problems and underlining all of the important information. For example, let's look at the very first one. It says the total amount of money if you have $9 and $12. We want to put this into an expression, so let's look at the most important information. So, it looks like we're talking about the total amount. That means we're going to be using addition. The next pieces that we need are $9 and we need $12. So we know that we're going to add the $9 and the $12 together. So the expression we would write is 9 plus 12. That is the expression that we would write for this example. For the next example, the cost of 10 yo-yos if each costs $3. Let's look at the important information in the words that we just learned. Let's look at of. What word does that mean that we're going to be using? We're going to be using some multiplication. So I want to know what the cost of 10 yo-yos if each costs $3. So we're going to be doing some multiplication of the number 10 and 3. So the cost of 10 yo-yos if each costs $3 is 10 times 3, which would be $30. So what I want you to do right now is to pause the video and to attempt these two examples. Once you unpause it, I will show you how to do this. Okay, so this example, we have the age difference between 15 years old and 10 years old. Hopefully you underlined the most important information. So in the first one, we're talking about the age difference. Difference means that we're supposed to be doing subtraction. So we're finding the age difference between 15 years old and 10 years old. So we're trying to find the difference of 15 and 10, which would be subtraction. So it would be 15 minus 10. Let's look at the next one. The number of students in each group, if 15 students, are divided into 5 equal groups. This should be a little obvious since it has the main word divided right here. So we'll be doing some division. So the numbers that we're going to be dividing are 15. They're divided into 5 equal groups. So the expression that we come up with is 15 divided by 5. In order of operations, we have a silly little acronym that we like to use. It's called PEMDAS. An easy way to remember it is please, excuse, my, dear, and Sally. We use this because the very first thing that we're supposed to use in an expression is we're supposed to find the parentheses and then solve for the parentheses, followed by the exponent, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. So if there are any parentheses, you work the parentheses first. If there are any exponents, you work the exponents second. When it comes to multiplication and division, you're supposed to work these left to right. And I'll show you what I mean in an example. In addition and subtraction, it's the same thing. You're supposed to work these left to right. Let's look at a couple of examples. The first one, we have 20 minus 3 times 5. Remember, we have PEMDAS up here. So do we have any parentheses? No. We don't have any exponents, but we do have some multiplication. So let's solve for the multiplication first. What I like to do is underline exactly what I'm going to be doing. So we do 3 times 5, which is equal to 15. I like to rewrite everything right below it. So 20 minus 15. We don't have any division or addition, so we move on to subtraction. So we subtract 20 minus 15, which is equal to 5. So 5 is the answer that we end up with. So if we look at the second example, we have 4 open parentheses, 10 minus 7, close parentheses, plus 2 times 3. So we do have the parentheses, so let's work whatever is in the parentheses first, which is 10 minus 7, which is equal to 3. So we rewrite everything that we have. 4 times 3 plus 2 times 3. We don't have any exponents, and we do have some multiplication. If you notice, we have 4 times 3 right here, and we have 2 times 3 right here. Like I stated before, we work from left to right. So we use the multiplication that's the furthest left first. So we do 4 times 3, which is equal to 12. Rewrite everything, plus 2 times 3. We still have some multiplication of 2 times 3. So we'll multiply that out. So then we would have 6, and we bring everything else down. So we have 12 plus 6. Now the last thing we have is some addition of 12 plus 6, which is equal to 18. So your final answer for this would be 18. Alright, now I want you to try this. The second one is a little tricky, but here's a hint. I want you to use the numerator as a grouping and the denominator as a grouping. So I want you to pause it right now, and then when you unpause it, I'll show you how to do it. Alright, at first, let's look at the very first one. We don't have any parentheses or exponents, and we don't have any multiplication, but we do have some division. So we have 16 divided by 4, which is equal to 4. Then we have 4 plus 6. Remember to carry everything down. Then we have some addition. 4 plus 6, which is equal to 10. Now, the next one, I gave you a little hint to think of the numerator and the denominator as different groupings. One way that you can rewrite this to make this a little less menacing is you can rewrite it as 5 plus 9 divided by 10 minus 3. Now remember, we have a couple of parentheses here, so let's solve the parentheses first. So we have 5 plus 9, which is equal to 14. Bring everything else down, so we have 14 divided by, in the parentheses, 10 minus 3. So we still have our parentheses of 10 minus 3. So 10 minus 3 is equal to 7. Bring everything else down. Now all that we have is our division of 14 divided by 7. So 14 divided by 7 is equal to 2.